change, of continuous becoming, of building and rebuilding. There's an old fable that I love that tells of a young girl who visits a construction site. She approaches the first workman she sees and says, "Excuse me, what are you doing?" He says, "Can't you see? I'm laying bricks." She approaches the second workman, who's doing the same work as the first, and asks, "Excuse me, what are you doing?" He says, "Can't you see? I'm building a wall." She approaches the third workman, who's doing the same work as the previous two, and asks, "Excuse me, what are you doing?" He says, "Can't you see? I'm building a temple." When I hear this story, I think, what kind of person am I? What am I supposed to be? Do I focus on the task at hand, laying brick? Do I connect myself to a job, a project, building walls? Do I dedicate myself to a movement, a cause larger than myself, larger than my lifetime even, some temple to pray to? When I write poems, it feels like I'm laying brick. I move the words around, I place them here and there, I put concrete in between them in my brain to make them stick. When I visit a school, it feels like I'm building walls, building connections. And sometimes, rarely, I get to see a glimpse of something larger than myself. I witness a trans boy in Northern California celebrate his transition in front of his entire high school through a poem on stage. I learn of girls in Singapore finding videos online to study poetry when their school gets rid of creative writing class. In this Scripps graduating class, there are many different workmen. Some people are working on one specific goal. They write papers and do research. Others work on forming a necessary part of a team to build the connections and projects we need. Still others are dedicated to a purpose. They are envisioning a new future, a utopia we can move towards. My friend Andrea Gibson used to work with a radical feminist performance collective called Vox Feminista, whose motto was to comfort the disturbed and disturb the comfortable. This motto deeply resonates with my experience as a writer and performer, both in what I want to create for others, but also in what I want to create for myself. As an artist, there are moments I find when I've become comfortable with an idea, an experience, or even a specific word, and I want to disturb it and excavate it more thoroughly. Or I'm disturbed by something, and I want to seek comfort in writing through it and sharing it with others. Lately, I've started to think that this motto might also serve as a way to exist in the world, as a guide for how we might try to build. When Black men and women are being murdered in our streets, when there is sexual assault rampant on our college campuses, it is our job to disturb the comfortable, to force those who consider themselves blissfully unaffected to engage, acknowledge, learn, witness, and act, to challenge spaces that need to be challenged. And it is also our job to seek ways to comfort those who have been disturbed, to provide for those who've been victimized by natural disasters or unnatural violence and tragedy. It feels like I'm always trying to learn how to hold myself gently, but also hold myself accountable, as well as do the same for the people around me. Sometimes it's hard to believe that we can be working on the same thing. Sometimes the way you build is so different from the way someone else does. You want to be big and visible and radical and loud. Someone else wants to work quietly, under the radar, out of the public eye. It is possible to have many front lines in the same war. It is possible that the people you disagree with are really trying to do the same work, trying to build the same future, even if we see it different ways. You can lay bricks until walls are constructed, until a temple is built. Or you can dream towards a temple until you figure out which walls to build and which bricks to lay. You can shape behavior until it changes minds, or change minds until it shapes behavior. You create options by choice and example.